the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Oftentimes, Father, when we're speaking of the care of creation, I think a lot of otherwise very well-meaning Catholics can kind of tune out. But of course, we had Pope Francis's Laudato Si, and there's being so many just ways in which we have been encouraged to continue on in the care of creation. Maybe just a few words from you on that. How should Catholics respect and care for nature?
Yeah, I think we are absolutely called to do that. One of the principles of our faith is, and Jesus talks about it again and again, is that we are stewards of everything that we have been given. Okay, we are not inherently owners of it. It doesn't purely belong to us, but we are stewards. Therefore, we are called to care for the environment and the creation around us. And I mean, if we just think about it in sort of everyday life, you take care of your home, you take care of your yard, you take care of these things so that you can enjoy it now, but also so that somebody can have it after you're gone. And so that whole idea of trying to be respectful of nature, respectful of what God has created by caring for it, so that we can receive the blessings of it, but also so that others can receive the blessings of it. And I kind of understand, what you said, because some of this stuff can go off the rails and run into that unfortunate situation where the creation becomes the God, and so we lock in on the creation as if that's a God in itself, rather than keeping our eyes on the God who actually gave it to us in the first place.
Yeah, true enough. Father Tom Wilson with us today, talking about finding God in nature, and would love to hear some stories, some testimonies from you about how you have found God, or maybe better, God has found you in and through nature. Let's go to, by the way, the phone number, 888-914-9149. Let's go to Marina, who's calling in from Vancouver. Hello, Marina, and welcome.
Hello. I just wanted to say that I have a beautiful yard that I over years have planted because of the awe and wonder of the Lord, and how He's blessed me in my life going forward, and how I have a 4-leaf clover garden that is a secret, but I give to others and share the story of when I was in need. Back in the 80s, something bad happened, and I cried out to the Lord. I said, all I want to know is that you love me. I don't care about anything else. And I've always loved Him. And I went in the house, and I went back outside. And as I looked down, first I told him, I said, you can't show me a rainbow. It's sunny. And I said, you can't call me and you can't talk to me. And I know the rules. I said, I love you, Lord. I said, if you could just give me a 4-leaf clover. And I laughed. And as I went back to get the lunch for the children, I came out, and that day my daughter and I found over 190 some 4-leaf clovers. When I had asked him, and the newspaper even came out and saw it, and he couldn't believe it. And we dedicated it to a church that we went to at the time. But till this day, I'm much older, really old. Yesterday I found a 4-leaf clover, and I go out in the mornings to feed the chickens, and I look around and I just watch. And I've grown all these fruit trees and berries, and everything in my yard is like an oasis in a city of craziness. And I just give thanks every day for His love. And when I find the 4-leaf clovers, I fold them and put them in the Bible, and I gift them to other people that are struggling. And I tell them my story of His love and sense of humor, and you can never outgive God and the blessings He gives us if we just trust in Him with our heart and soul. And anyway, I just wanted to call. I love nature, and everything's organic. I do. And I have a beautiful 4-leaf clover garden that keeps on giving.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
That is amazing, Marina. That is a beautiful witness and testimony. I'm not sure I've ever heard of a 4-leaf clover garden before. That's
Wow.
but just amazing. And I kind of noted as you were speaking, Marina, that your attachment to nature and your desire to care for it is a direct response to your love of God. You talked about you love the Lord and you've been blessed by Him, and so caring for the little corner of creation that you have responsibility for in that great and attentive way that's beautiful is your own response to God's love. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
giving us a testimony and witness to that, and then taking the next step and sharing that with others. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing, Marina.
I feel like that's something that a lot of us, you've just perked up our ears here a little bit, Marina, and thinking, oh, I could do something like that. If the Lord wanted to provide 4-leaf clovers in my yard like that, or if I can cultivate a 4-leaf clover garden like you did, then maybe there's a way of sharing the faith with others through that. So, Marina, great testimony. Thank you so much for calling in. Next up is Jan calling in from Olive Branch, Mississippi. Hello, Jan, and welcome.
Good morning, Deacon Patrick and Father. I had the opportunity to live on the island of Maui in Hawaii several years ago, and for my birthday last year, I went back to visit several of my friends, and the beauty of the islands just is, to me, shows the magnificence of God's creation. It's truly like paradise, and when we come back into a new creation, I'm sure it's going to look like the island of Maui because it's so beautiful. I just cannot describe the beauty of just something as simple as the sunset. In fact, several of the tourists, what they do is they get their drinks and their chairs and they sit on the beach and they watch the sunset. Something as simple as that it's just amazing, and I just thank God. But for those who cannot visit tropical places like Maui, is just my advice is just, if you have a dog and you're out for a walk, just look at the beauty even in the wildflowers. It's just, God is so good.
Amen.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Jan. That's a wonderful story, and I think a lot of our listeners, me included, would agree with you in terms of the beauty of the tropical islands and the like. I'll just tell you a little bit. I've had one experience in Hawaii, and I was in awe and wonder of what we saw. But what I can tell you is also my experience in seeing that beauty in Hawaii also helped me to see the beauty back home too. So I think, thank you for sharing that insight that, not everybody is going to be able to take the 7-hour flight to Hawaii to be able to experience that, but we can all experience a piece of that in our own backyards and our own neighborhoods. And I think once we experience the big, we might be able to see the smaller just a little bit more clearly.
Yeah. That's a great point right there, Father. I'm glad you brought that up. That sometimes just one experience can really make us more and more attentive to in the details, as we were saying before. And Jan, thank you so much for the call. And Father, I'm thinking especially maybe in January, maybe we should do a pilgrimage to the Hawaiian Islands. What do you think about that?
Well, the one time I went to Hawaii was in January, and I'd go back again if I had the opportunity, but I'm not seeing that on the radar too quickly. But
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Understood. Well, Jan, again, thank you so much. Next up is Deacon Jeff calling in from Augusta, Maine. Good afternoon, Deacon.
Good afternoon. How is everybody there?
Doing well, thank you.
Doing great. Yep.
Very well. Well, my story is that I live in a log home in the middle of the woods on 14 and a half acres of land. The log home that I built 40 years ago, raised our 5 kids here. We sit out on the deck and look at God's wonderful creation in the stars. My son and his wife and their 2 sons, who live in Miami, came home so that his wife could see what he grew up in. And, I have animals all around me. I have the beautiful, all of the things of creation I can see here. And I, there are places in Maine where it's so disorganized that it's called a township, where we have a T1R5 or Township 1 in row 5. That's, there are areas of Maine that are that undeveloped. And there are places in Maine where you can't take a motor vehicle within a mile of the wilderness walkway and the lakes that are up there because they wanted to leave it like it is. So I'm sorry, Father Tom, I'm the exact opposite of you. I go out whenever I can. I've just been out to my land and moved some gravel around so that we could put in a new house for my youngest son. And I'm here and I'm hearing the chickens cackle behind me and the turkeys are gobbling in the woods and all kinds of things like that. So, it doesn't take much. But the one thing I want to share with all of you and with all of your listeners is that when you're in the wilderness, the one thing that you get away from is noise.
Yeah.
Everything is quiet. Everything is quiet, and everything, you can then feel God. You can hear God in what he said, because we're not bustled with this and that and the other thing. We can clear our minds and just go, wow, this is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
All righty. No, thanks, Deacon Jeff. That is a great insight, and again, personally, and when I talk to others who just enjoy being outdoors, one of the top things on their list of that enjoyment is just it's the decompression and the separation from the devices and all those sorts of things that are constant distractions. And so you almost get a double blessing, if you will, because you're not only disconnecting from the distractions in your life, but you're also then engaging in the glory and wonder and awesomeness of God and his creation. So 40 years out in the woods, that is fantastic.
Isn't that
That
amazing?
is fantastic. And I bet all of your grandchildren want to come and be part of that with great frequency. So well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done indeed, Deacon. Thank you so much for listening and for the call in as well. We're talking about finding God in nature today with Father Tom Wilson. We're overdue for a break, so we got to do that. But we'll come back with more phone calls and more emails from you, 888-914-9149 and or innerlife@relevantradio.com. We'll be back after the short break. Stay with us.
That was the best of the week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the best of the week is on the Relevant Radio app. Free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.